You know, the more I think about it, the more I see similarities between video games and professional wrestling. Both have outlandish characters, life bar-ending finishing moves, and the Royal Rumble is pretty much just Super Smash Bros. With real people. But sometimes there's a more direct crossover between the two than just these basic similarities. Games will often rip moves straight out of professional wrestling, even though they make zero sense in the context of hand-to-hand combat. Regardless, they always manage to look rad as hell. To celebrate this phenomena, I'm going to count down the top 10 best appearances in video games of one of wrestling's most iconic moves. The suplex. I'm Nitro Rad, and this is the top 10 best suplexes in video games. Let's go. Number 10. What better place to start than the very beginning? Though Pro Wrestling Nes is pretty tame and simple by today's standards, at the time it was a technical wrestling simulator powerhouse. Not only could you see a full crowd, but you could see the announcer, the ref, the cameraman. In the mid-80s, that was the closest you were gonna get to a true televised wrestling experience. All of these details, along with the game's varied cast of characters, infamous mistranslations, are the reasons why this game is still remembered today. But that's also why the classic suplexes of Pro Wrestling Nes lands on this list, being some of the very first you could ever execute with a game controller. Now, can we please see Starman as an assist trophy next Smash Bros? Number 9. Out with the old and in with the new. I know this one's a bit of a cop-out, but I'd be lying to you if I said there was a better wrestling game for the 360 and PS3 than WWE 2K14. It's one of those games where you make your own moments, and they end up being just as crazy as a moment that was scripted in another game. Like chokeslamming The Undertaker off a ladder as Kane, just in time to prevent him from winning Money in the Bank. One of these moments is whenever you suplex somebody. Through a table.
A flaming table?
Directly on that table.
It's so satisfying. The game replays it over and over again, showing all these different camera angles. It makes such a huge deal out of it. Well, I mean, it should. It was through a table! Number 8. Critics of wrestling love to talk about how it's so fake, how they're not even hitting each other or punching each other, you know, all that trash. But I guarantee you, none of those dweebs ever considered what they would do if a real wrestler came there then and now, picked them up, and started throwing them around till they couldn't move anymore. With this said, I guarantee no one has ever considered a goddamn gorilla doing said wrestling moves.
Wait, you're not a human, are you?
You'd be screwed, you'd be dead, there'd be nothing you could do. Unless you got the God Hand. Number 7. Not to badmouth my city's current mayor, but I kinda wish my mayor was an ex-pro wrestler that gets his daughter kidnapped. Instead of calling the police, he ditch-patches the criminals himself with a variety of wrestling moves. Or a mayor who is nearly as skilled in the art of suplexing as Mike Hager, the mayor from Final Fight. Number 6. Capcom must have hired a lot of wrestling fans because the next game on the list is Resident Evil 4. Now, I'm no expert, but I'd assume in a zombie virus epidemic, you'd want to keep your distance from the zombies, avoiding close quarters combat. I mean, they're kind of a vessel for disease. I don't imagine the best method of taking the zombies out would be grabbing them, swinging them over your head, smashing them into the ground, allowing their fluids to ooze all over you. Oh wait, I forgot, they're not zombies in this game. Well, keep suplexing away, Leon. Suplex to your heart's content. Number 5. Whoever would have thought that the secret to making a great wrestling game about fictional wrestlers was to hire a company that makes wrestling games? Ultimate Muscle Legends vs. New Generation is developed by the AKI Corporation, a developer well known for making some of the best wrestling games of the N64 era. They really made a great use of the Ultimate Muscle property. They utilized the anime's galactic wrestling mythology to concoct one of the most over-the-top wrestling games ever made. But not only that, it actually plays pretty damn well too. It only makes sense that the suplexes in Legends vs. New Generations are out of this world.
I will crush you! Oh, there we go! Now you gain mix-up! Gonna gain cross-up!
Number 4. No More Heroes otaku protagonist Travis Touchdown is spouting references non-stop.
Moe.
It seems on his journey to become the #1 assassin, he'll blab on about anything from moe to pro wrestling. But Travis's love for wrestling goes far beyond referential dialogue. Wrestling is everywhere in No More Heroes. The majority of the locations in the game are all named after wrestling moves. For example, Senton Splash Tunnel, Rolling Cradle Highway Bus Stop, Body Slam Beach, and you guessed it, Suplex Pizza. After studying countless VHS tapes of classic matches, Travis has learned many wrestling moves he uses to dispatch his fellow assassins, one of which is a pretty damn impressive German suplex.
Number 3.
Saints Row 4's Earth-ending storyline was pretty out of this world. Developer Volition did a fantastic job of making Zinyak seem like such a dangerous threat, as he bested the boss of the Saints again and again over the course of the game. That only makes it that much more satisfying when you put on that power suit armor, the touch kicks in, and you beat the living hell out of Zinyak. So what move do you use to deliver the final blow? Well, you rip his spine out. But before that, you do a suplex. Pro wrestling moves have been the standard melee attack in the Saints Row franchise since the third game, but it's this universe-saving suplex that makes the list.
Number 2.
Kirby is the only game franchise that I can possibly think of that has a suplex power-up. And boy, is it appropriately vicious. One suplex from Kirby is enough to send most enemies to a screen-shattering grave. It's also Kirby's grab moves in the Super Smash Bros. Series, and by far my favorite grab animation in the entire game. All of this must be proof that Kirby's pink color is really a reference to Bret Hitman Hart.
Number 1.
There are only so many real-life particle applications in which you would use a suplex. Someone's trying to take your heavyweight belt? Suplex him. Gotta KO that assassin? Suplex him. Gotta knock that guy off that stage? Suplex him. Gotta smash that zombie skull open on the ground? Suplex him. Need to stop a train? Final Fantasy VI may have the greatest use of a suplex in the history of video games. One of the character Sabin's main moves is a suplex, but the crazy part is you can use it on almost every enemy in the game regardless of its size. But none of them produces such a ridiculous result as when you're fighting the ghost train. Oh dude, that's 1, 2, 3, yo, fucking train, yo! That's 1 point Sabin, 0 train. Train none, Sabin 1, yo, I'm done. I'm done.
Hey, thanks for watching the video all the way through and sticking around to the end. If you want to watch some of the other videos I've made, I got 2 right here. I got the top 10 hilariously awful songs in video games. It's an alright video. Then I got this really good Star Tropics review that I poured a whole week of effort into, so I'd really appreciate if you watched that one. Special shout out to my friends Lucas and Josh for writing this entire episode. I had no part in any of the writing, it was all those guys, so thanks a lot guys. Hopefully this time next week I'll be coming out with a Yume Nikki review, which is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, but I'm not gonna make any promises that that's gonna come anytime soon. I'd really appreciate it if you could like the video and then maybe subscribe if you want to see some more. So yeah, thanks for watching, I hope to see you guys in the future. Take care.
But I'd be lying to you if I said there's a better wrestling game for the 360 and PS3 than Pro Wrestling NES.